Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today actually is pretty dang neat and new. This is the WLToys Q696-A. Now, if you look at the Q696-A, you'll see that it has something that most other toy-grade quadcopters do not have, and that is a 2-axis stabilized gimbal. Yes, folks, this has a stabilized gimbal. We'll be demonstrating its performance here shortly, but in addition to that, it has 1080p camera, recordable camera that records to an SD card. In addition to that, if you can see here, it also has 5.8 Ghz FPV. Now, that 5.8 Ghz FPV transmits on Boscan band channel E4, which means that you can also receive this video on goggles. And I will be receiving and recording the FPV video via my VRD2 goggles here. Other than that, it is actually the first ready-to-fly quadcopter that I've seen come out with a brushless motor, or not brushless, forgive me, it is brushed motors, but with a 2-axis gimbal. This is the first brushed motor 2-axis gimbal quadcopter that I've seen come out. Now this is, again, is the new WLToys Q696 series. There are other versions of the cameras that come with the 696 series, but most of them come with this 2-axis gimbal in the 696 series. Now there is a lower grade, cheaper 393 series, but that 393 series does not come with the gimbal, so expect, you're going to get lower cost, but the main cost driver of that is this 2-axis gimbal that comes with it, with a 1080p camera with 5.8 Ghz FPV. That means, this 696A version is not cheap, folks. You'll look at the price and you'll go, no, that is not cheap. And that's the reason being, you're getting this high-grade camera system that comes with this, or higher grade than most other toy grade quadcopters. Other than that, it has a very sleek shape, comes with a 2600 milliamp hour proprietary battery, 7.4 volt battery. It's a big battery. It's supposed to give it 11 minutes of flight time, and or 11 to 13 minutes of flight time. We'll see if that's true here. Also, it has the prettiest lights I've ever seen, very bright. These things light up, the landing skids light up big time at night. If you fly this at night, if you're a night flyer, your neighbors will definitely notice this up in the air. Now, there's something else about this quadcopter. I wanted to mention it in that, see if I can see it here. It does have telemetry. Okay, we have remaining battery power in a quadcopter will be transmitted to us here. It supposedly has it has altitude. This is an altitude hold quadcopter because you can tell by the center stick here, but it also transmits the altitude data to the quadcopter here. And here's the one that I'm not so sure about how it can do it. It's supposed to also transmit speed data from the quadcopter to this. I don't know how you calculate speed because this does not have GPS, but they're also advertising this thing's supposed to do a return to home and landing. And I don't know how you don't also do that without GPS, under its one key return. But we'll demonstrate that and see if it actually works here in flight. Let's go over the transmitter. Again, you get a 5.8 Ghz FPV receiver screen, and that's another addition to the cost. But it only receives on band E4, and it has an on-off switch here and a charging port here. The transmitter itself, let's go over the transmitter. It's similar to other WLToys transmitters. This button here is for rates. This button here is for flips, tell which direction to flip. Since this is an altitude hold quadcopter, if you crash, you got to do an emergency stop. Shut those motors off quickly. You hold down both of these buttons here simultaneously and hold them down, and it should shut off the motors quickly. It does have automatic takeoff and landing, which you activate by pressing this button here, or you can do a manual takeoff by bringing both sticks down and out to start the motors and raising throttle to take to the air. It has one key return. Again, we're going to demonstrate that, see if it actually is a one key return and landing by pressing this button here. It has headless mode by pressing this button here. And that gimbal, that stabilized gimbal, can go up and down. So if you want to move the view upward, you press this button here, and move the view downward, you press this button here. And to take a photo, you press this button here, or a video, you hold down this button here. So that's it. Let's go for a flight of this thing and see if it actually works as advertised. Okay, so first off, I'm plugging in the battery, and that actually turns on the quadcopter. It does not have an on-off switch. And then turning on my receiver, and I don't know if you can see that, folks, but that's my received video there. Looking on my screen here, we have full battery power at the moment for the quadcopter, and this is the transmitter power. And again, this will be the altitude, speed, and time in the air is this one over here. And we are in low rate. Now let me turn on my goggles. I already have this set to channel E4 and switching to recorder mode and starting the recording. Okay, we should be good to go here, folks. First thing I want to do is see what happens if this loses signal. 1001, 1002, 1003, the quadcopter will stop, so we don't have to worry about flyaway issues. Okay, rebinding. We'll rebound, and right now, first thing I'm going to do is start the video, which is this button here. And when you start the video, there's a red number that starts flashing in the upper screen, and it is showing up in my recorded video, so it would show up in goggles if you're using goggles. Let's do an automatic takeoff. And let's trim it up. Trim it to the left. Okay, let's go downfield a bit and hit that 1 key return. Whoa, it was going to hit my goggles. Let's see if this is true 1 key return. We're going to go off to the left here, over there, and see if it comes back to the pad or if it just comes parallel. 1 key return, and no folks, it is just standard 1 key return where it flies backwards, parallel to the direction it was pointed. It is not a true return to home. Okay, with that in mind, let's try headless mode. Headless mode is activated. Now, since this is a camera bird, you actually could use this headless mode. This would come in handy here. Like you could fly parallel to yourself and keep the camera pointed to yourself. I don't know how stable that is. That quadcopter is shaking your rod quite a bit, but it works. It actually works. That gimbal seems to be holding it steady. See, I'm using the headless mode to pan around myself. And I'm staying in the view. Okay, let's turn off that headless mode. Let's go up high now and try out that gimbal and that camera. We're going to go up that way there. And let's camera down. Pointing it down, coming toward myself. I see myself so on the screen. So yeah, the gimbal works too. A little bit downward more. Okay, let's put the gimbal up now. Let's examine the lights a bit. Lights are showing up. And this is pretty good range right now. I'm at about 80 meters. And the FPV signal is pretty strong. Let's go around the outside edge of that light. I better come back. I don't want to go too far over that way. Okay, so yeah, this is actually operating very nicely, folks. Okay, let's do an automatic landing from up on high there. Pressing the land button, which is this button here. And giving a little forward push to bring it in. That's an automatic landing. So yeah, this is actually working very nicely. Okay, I'm going to turn off that camera here, the video recording, and start the recording again. Let's try some FPV flying now. This time we're going to do a manual takeoff. And applying throttle. And we're going to fly around the field here. I'm flying FPV, folks. I'm just looking at my screen here, and it is working very nicely. Where am I at? I'm looking for myself here. Pushing forward. And there I be. I see myself. Wrong way, left. Right overhead. So this is actually a very nice quadcopter. Some people are going to say, yeah, but it's brushed. Well, usually these brushed motors are cheap and usually easy to replace. Now, I haven't tried to replace mine yet, so I can't vouch for that just now. But let's bring it in and let you see it up close. Nice. And look at that gimbal. Let's wiggle it a bit and see that gimbal. See how it stabilizes? Bring it in a little closer again. It's staying stable. Keeping level. Doing a real nice job keeping level. Probably has a little tilt on it. I don't know. It's probably not perfect. Well, it doesn't look too shabby. So, okay. I haven't tried this emergency stop yet. Let me stop the camera first. Stop the video. And we'll put it on the ground. Oh. Well, folks, if you bring this down too far, the motors will shut down. So, similar to the SEMA X8C. So be careful lowering the throttle. Good thing I was close to the ground when that happened. But the motor shut off there. So keep that in mind, folks. Let's do that again. See if we can demonstrate that again. We go up to about there. And pulling down the throttle, lowering. And I'm not all the way down. Okay, I pulled it all the way down and then it shuts off. So be careful there. If you pull that stick, you try to come down from up on high and you pull the stick all the way down, those motors will shut off. So be careful in descents. Okay, I'm back at my landing pad. We are going to rebind the quadcopter. And I am going to calibrate the gyros down and to the left. And we are going to start the motors. And start the video again, which is that button there. I want to see this, if this velocity measurement actually shows up. So go into the air. Yeah, it's saying 5 miles per hour, 2 kilometers per hour, 12 kilometers per hour. Actually, what it's doing is it's estimating what the tilt is on the quadcopter and giving you a estimated speed based on the actual tilt of the quadcopter. I can see that right now, what that's doing. Still moving forward. No, actually now it's moving backwards. Now it's saying it's moving 1, 2, 3 miles per hour. No, it's actually calculating velocity, which is interesting. I guess it's using the accelerometers to do that. Okay. With that in mind, let's fly around the area. I am recording. Let's go to higher rate. We're in high rate. Coming back to us. Emergency stop. Don't know what happened there. Oh. Receiver is the battery's getting weak. It shows 2 bars left, but I think that's it. When it starts beeping like that, it's telling you it's low power and it's time to land. So don't go by the bars. Go when it starts beeping, that's time to land. So turning off the video. Stopping the recording. Okay, again, if you look closely, you'll see I still have 2 bars, but it's blinking and the receiver is beeping, which means low battery power. I am going to try to force it back up into the air again, though. Let's see if we can do that. Down and out. Nope, won't start. And again, its lights are flashing. So that's what happens when you get low power on this thing. So turning that off, turning that off. And when it's low battery, its gyro don't work anymore either. So that's the flight of the Q696-A, first flight of it. Again, it's the first brushed motor quadcopter I've seen that's come out with a 2-axis gimbal with 5.8 gigahertz FPV and receiver system to boot with it. So pretty interesting. I hope we see more of these in the future, particularly 2-axis gimbals on quadcopters. That's a neat idea. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101 signing out with the Q696-A. Night flying with the WLToys Q696. Actually, let's turn on its camera too. And up in the air we go. I'm going to headless mode. Taking out of headless mode. And going up. Pretty neat looking quad at night. And coming back down. And bringing it in close. Well lit up quadcopter. And that camera works well at night or in low light condition. Going to higher rate. With this altitude hold, it is kind of easy to fly. One thing I haven't done yet, see if I can do it, is a flip. Well, doesn't let you do flips with that camera attached. Good thing. Nope, no flips. Let's see, we got a higher rate? No. Beginner and intermediate. So, again, no flips. Going up high. Going over there and then coming back down. And it's a nice night to fly, but that's it. And where's that land button? Automatic landing. When it gets close to the ground, it just shuts down those motors. Let's try that again. Take off. Let's go up a little bit higher. I want to try that again. Let's do that land. It knows when it's close to the ground, and then it just shuts that motor down. So I hope you enjoyed that flight. Quadcopter 101, signing out.